Saying a journey of 1,000 miles starts with a step sounds cliche, right? But the truth is, if you look at it from any perspective, it is what it is. And so on this note, my team and I are delighted to take the first step into the podcast Off the Mic. My name is Alex Osho. I am your host. This podcast basically aims at providing solutions to the societal ills and, of course, a safe space for us to unburden ourselves. Buckle up as we off the mic. Like my people will say, a combination of spices makes the soup sweet. And of course, on the show, we have our Adaeze, the first female child of this podcast, our Gen Z baddie. But this Gen Z baddie has got beauty and brains. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let me introduce you to Josephine Lawrence. You will pay me for this introduction I give you.
Thank you very much, everyone. My name is Lawrence Josephine, also known as Ada. I am a favorite event host, and I'm also a wellness coach. I help you stay healthy, stay fit, and you are now watching Off the Mic.
Okay, off the mic. Off the mic. You should be offing the mic too. Off the mic. We'll send our invoice. Anyway, next up in the studio we have someone who I walked into many years ago now, I think 5-10 years now. Is it up to 10?
No,
yeah. And, a young man who I see doing good for himself, a musician who has, now metamorphosed into being an event person, doing very well. He has his own podcast also. Ladies and gentlemen, trust me when I say John is a reliable person. John Bula, ladies and gentlemen, we have in the studio. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you very much, everyone. I'm Kolawale Luyomade, aka John Bula. I'm a musical artist. I'm a creative entrepreneur. I'm the initiator of Creators Hangout, moving around to reach out to creatives and letting them know what they have to do to give back to the society. And I'm very, very happy to be on this podcast.
Yes, thank you guys for joining me on this journey. And I want to say a big thank you to every member of the team behind the camera. You guys are indeed very wonderful. You can think of doing something, but if you don't have the right team, it becomes impossible. A dream is given to one person, but driven by so many. On this note, ladies and gentlemen, we are delighted to have our first guest on the show. Our first guest is someone I consider a father, an uncle. I've known him since 2005. So which means it is, how many years now? It's not 20 good years. I was a student, a young boy at the University of Lagos when I met him. And the relationship has been cemented over that space of time. I dare say that with something I'm going to reveal today to him that he'll be shocked that he has never heard in 20 years. But let's move on as I quickly give him his accolade. Ladies and gentlemen, he is the President, Legacy 1995, the Historical and Environmental Interest Group of Nigeria, managing the Railway Museums.
General Manager, Corporate Communication, Nigeria Postal Service.
A retired postman, ladies and gentlemen, and that's where I get to say this. My grandfather retired as a postman at Night Post Sabo.
Oh,
so I never told him that over these years. He is the former chairman, Nigerian Red Cross Society, Federal Capital Territory Branch, Abuja.
Patron, Philately Club, Calabar.
And a very diehard friend of the National Museum across Nigeria. Ladies and gentlemen, please, without further ado, let me put your hands together for Mr. Taiye Olaniyi.
Yeah, it feels good to have you here. Yeah. Your profile is well structured, and it feels good to be sitting next to an icon. Hearing.
Okay, you want autograph? Have you reached out there? Collect autograph.
I don't mind an autograph.
Thank you
Please put the mic close to him.
Yeah, thank you very much for letting me be part of the Gen Z, the millennial, and I don't know what class you know to. Maybe you belong
maybe I'm Gen Alpha.
Yeah, something like that.
Maybe you belong to Woke Babasi Bell. But we thank God one still has about the 32 teeth still.
Are you sure you still have 32?
That 32 complete.
I doubt if I have 32 right now.
So you see, it's always very lovely being in the midst of people like us, because in Yoruba adage it is said, ọ̀tún wẹ́ òsì, òsì wẹ́ ọ̀tún, lọ́wọ́ fi mọ́. That collectively, to have a collective success, let's join hands together. And it's so nice that the young ones are here. I'm not too old. I'm usually very old. I mean, very young. I've been putting it on prayer point that this man's beer should have a road diversion to my home. But fortunately or unfortunately, he still has his own intact, and my own is like Atakama desert. So it's nice to be with you. Yeah.
Thank you so much to have. We appreciate you being on the show. Let's go straight into the podcast why we're here. We're discussing tourism and its effect on Nigeria. How significant is tourism to the Nigerian's GDP as compared to, oil and gas, agriculture, telecoms, and the rest of that? What is your take on how we have treated tourism in Nigeria and culture?
Yeah, thank you very much. I will want to say that it all depends on the level of appreciation of the beauty of historical sites, museums, and a lot of other monuments that showcase the pride of God in His creation in this part of the world. And as a result of that, how to what extent? In the Christian Bible, Christ asked, "What have you gone to do in the wilderness?" Because they know that people will go to look out for different things. But to what extent are generally Nigerians, appreciate some of these beautiful sights of God in our creation, in our various communities, and to what extent are we now letting some of these beautiful things get across even to outsiders? Just this last week, there was this Oshun Festival.
Ocean Festival, yes.
And that has been one of the most outstanding festivals that tend to bring people from different geographic areas of the world to appreciate what we have. But shortly after the festival, and average Nigerians, even people that are from Oshobo, to what extent do they get to appreciate what God has given them and what fellow human beings like Susan Wenger has done to ensure that, yes, we can still make money from this cultural edifice. We have so many of these things around us, but we really don't appreciate. And as a result of that, we don't have what an average site of tourist site is supposed to do to us. Public education, enrichment of culture, relaxation of beings, and sort of diversifying the socio-cultural enlightenment and the way we spread it. So to a very great extent, little or nothing can be said that Nigeria is deriving from tourism.
Okay.
Although it is not too late, but you find out that even when they make you Minister of Tourism and Culture or Commissioner of Tourism and Culture, you decide to feel, this is not a juicy appointment. And as a result of that, there is limited input into how we can make policies, that we make individuals that are working in these various tourist sites to really come up with something that will bring money to us.
Well said. Sir, you mentioned something very, very interesting. You mentioned, Christian's Bible.
Yep.
So you brought religion into this, and I think we should go in that direction.
Yep.
Do you think that religion has played any role in dwindling the strength of our culture, and as such, living in a space where an average Nigerian doesn't even appreciate our culture anymore because they feel like it is termed pagan. Yes.
Yep.
Do you think it has played a negative effect on our culture as a people by killing the potential of it in Nigeria?
Yes. I want to say the two foreign religions really have created a lot of denigration of what we should actually appreciate.
But by two foreign religions, you mean?
Islam and Christianity. When I was young, I was addicted to following masquerades. A lot. In fact, during the evening church service, I would steal out from the church and go around to follow masquerade. But my dad was the Baba Ijo of St. Mark's Anglican Church, which is now a cathedral. By the time I knew they were almost leaving the church to go home, I rushed down and asked my cousins what was the sermon today. And when they tell, later I will go and carry my daddy's Bible. They will say, I didn't see you. I said, I was there. Is this not what the topic of the sermon? And I even used to pray then when I was young that if I was going to die, it should be right inside the church because I felt that was the only way that one can really go to heaven. But I'm a different person today. And I also thank God that I have undertaken pilgrimage to Israel. And I'm honestly telling you, according to Mary Mayer, who was our tour guide, or one of our tour guides as at that time, pilgrimage to Israel was a revenue generating platform for Israel.
Wow.
But in our own case, look at even last year, they were struggling for whether 90 billion should be appropriated for people who are undertaking pilgrimage to Mecca. But when it comes to our own, I thank God that we have resuscitated some of these festivals in my hometown. I'm from Ofa, and we have Ijakadi Festival.
Ofa is in what state?
It's in Kwara State, but I always want to say it's Ofa State.
Everybody is fighting for state. So Jebu is fighting for state.
So there was a time that, Egungun Festival was no longer. Whereas when we were young, we used to sing, Bẹ́ẹ̀ pẹ́ lóko díẹ̀ ẹ̀rìn wálé ẹ̀ wá ṣọ̀gbọ́n àbíyamọ bàbó bàbó àbíkàkàrà bàbó. That is, during the Ileya Festival, at the tail end of the Ileya Festival, we used to have the Egungun Festival. And you find people from the north, from everywhere coming to, but all those things just die off like that. Today in my hometown, you are either a born-again Christian of the Pentecostal days, or you are Alasalatu Kilagbojule, like everybody. So these things tend to affect the beauty of our culture, and it's really also denigrating and creating a piercing hole inside our family fabrics. And this is why there is not much of unity again. In fact, people like you now, if I ask you, have you been to your hometown? You'll be telling me, oh, my daddy say because of Ayamatanga.
Maybe John and Josephine. But me, you know me. I love culture.
Yeah, you have been a man of culture, and this is why I love people like you.
I love culture.
Everybody should appreciate why God thought it wise that you are created in his creation, in this part of his creation. And this is why when some of the Christians will say, oh Lord my God, when I in awesome wonder, you also find out that the Muslims will say, everywhere I face, I see the face of Allah. In the Rosicrucian order, we say, the noblest employment of the mind of man is in the study of the works of his creator. So creation gives you great impetus.
Off the mic now. Off the mic now. Hey, you guys are wasting time.
So these are things that maybe partly would have answered your question.
Yes, sir. I'm delighted that you're the one here today speaking, because I recall that you witnessed my seminar presentation at the National Museum, Lagos, some years back, where I talked on the crowning of an Oni of Ife.
Okay.
And I recall starting my presentation with the fact that before the advent of Christianity and Islam, there was something the average Nigerian was worshipping. Now, the custodians were our royal fathers. Now, let's now take it there. Do you think that our royal fathers have done enough in upholding this thing called tradition and culture? Because to me, from my lens and from the lenses of everyone that I've sat down to speak with, it looks like, the old monarch thing has been whitewashed, and it's all about money right now. We don't care about culture. Politicized, monetized, and whatever word, we can call it. So what role do you think our royal fathers have played in, gradually throwing our traditions into extinction?
Thank you very much. You discover that when you talk of a royal father now, the impression and the image you have is somebody who dresses very well and wears beautiful cap like your own, and so on and so forth. But you find out that during our time as youths, you like to go to an Oba's palace. When you are entering the Oba's palace, the drummers are there or were there. I don't know whether they are still there now. When they are beating their drums, they are communicating with you. They are communicating culture with you. When you go closer, you see some of the pillars carved with different symbols, communicating something with you. Today, many of our palaces have been thrown into shreds. You find when I'm born again now, I don't need that kind of palace again. Whereas any palace at all is supposed to be a communal, centrifugal, and centripetal forces for the entire community. But that is not what we see today. You see many of these, our traditional rulers, they are being there, could be born out of economic politics or political economy within. This is why the kingmakers don't even appreciate the culture of who should be there. So when all these parameters are put in place, there is a limit to how people will get to know the beauty of you being a king or Oba or Obi or this or that. North, in particular, you find that when they say they have emirs, they have the sultan, I mean, they are born out of Islamic culture, many of them. And as a result of that, rather than go within and appreciate God's domain, we now subject ourselves to whims and caprices. In Yoruba land, we say ti obalashe. But you see the kind of...
What does that mean, sir?
That is the king's word is final. But you can't say that any longer. Because if perchance you see your king associate with a kind of people that are regarded as worthless in the society, cultists and all the rest of them, then people like me will like to refrain from associating with where ordinarily the culture is very well embellished. So there are lots, but there are a few of them. I know of somebody in Oshun, Kabiyesi Adegboyega. He has a school. He's teaching. Yes, the man is a man that is
passionate about it.
That is passionate not only about culture, but passionate about integrity. These are things we should expect from so many traditional rulers. But many of these days is just land, that sales of land and all the rest of this. And you find out that all these things are mere means of emptiness, because a society that does not continue to go from past participle to present continuous of its heritage, ethical values in particular, then it's in disarray. And this is why we have to. But be that as it may, according to Agbazika Ini, the former governor of my state, when we were doing a Luta in Kwara State School of Basic Studies, he said a man with a big head can as well have nice legs. If you concentrate on the big head, you will overlook the nice legs. So the tradition, the respect and candor that should be accorded the traditional rulers should be there. But they also will have to appreciate the fact that people look up to them. In my hometown, when the current Olofa of Ofa introduced the Ijakade festival, we are making money, we are promoting culture, so by so doing, definitely one will have some element of respect. I am not saying that it's a saint, and I'm not saying people from that community, they are all saints. But today, many of our people, even from abroad, come home to know and participate in that kind of festival.
Thank you so much. We'll go on a short break, and when we return, we'll continue with Off the Mic. Once again, the name is Alex Osho. Keep it locked.
Welcome back to the podcast of the mic. I'm still here with John Bula and Alex Osho, and we're still here with our honorable guest speaker, Mr. Olaniyi Taiye. I want to ask a question concerning, you said something about, it being too late. And I'm sure I'm speaking for a lot of Gen Zs out there, because we don't really know much about. In fact, I should have come with my pen and my book, because this is like a learning session for me, because a lot of Gen Zs don't know much about culture. And I'm not joking. I think our parents are to be blamed. Even when you look at the people that are talking about culture right now, they are still either millennials or they are not even Gen Zs. So you need to give us an advice for us. We're going to give birth. That means culture is still going to die. We don't even know anything. You need to give us something that we can take to know how to continue or preserve our culture.
Thank you very much. I would appreciate you because of your even hairstyle itself. It's a cultural. I have a few of these hairstyles in my stamp album. Yeah, maybe after the program,
maybe I also like
I'll
culture.
let you know. But you see, one thing that you people are really leaving behind is the fact that when you travel outside, I was privileged to give a guest talk at in Howard University in the US. And my friend, who happened to be a lecturer lecturing Yoruba as second language for them, invited me and said I should come up with a topic. And I said, okay, let me go with Owambe. In Yoruba cultural tradition or something of that nature. There, when I got there were nothing less than 45 students, foreign students. Only 4 were Nigerians. And one was an Igbo lady. But all of them grew up there. it was only one of them, a Yoruba girl from Elisha, that was privileged to come for her marriage here in. Well, Owambe, a lot of dances and stuff like that. Many of them will pride in. I am from this place. Ọmọ ìlú báyìí ni mí. Mo ní ọmọ mẹ́rin. Àmì òbí mi bí ọmọ mẹ́rin. They are so proud of speaking the Yoruba, and at the end of the day, Owambe cannot be rounded up without you doing some traditional dances, which we did. Ayefele, come and see how they felt thrilled. Is there that we don't take pride? Even your language, all my children speak Yoruba. One of my daughters, she's Moremi. She's just traveled to Britain. She will be back maybe this weekend and stuff. She has that pride. So he had gone to Marimi Hall to take picture. It's because of imputing some elements of culture into them. So parents at times are, in most of the time, maybe are the ones that should be blamed. But some of you people too should show interest in your culture. Because in Yoruba land we say, ọmọ tí ó bá fi ọwọ́ sí júwèlé bàbá ẹ̀ pé ọmọ àlè ni.
Yes, sir. I beg to differ.
Yes,
okay, I beg to differ. Okay. Let me explain why. Because,
Why not?
I've asked a lot of them the question, and they say our parents don't want us to travel.
Yes.
They say if we travel, they will kill us.
Yes, you know, I meant
parents don't even speak their languages.
And then to even speak the language in the house is a problem.
English, like they're like, oh, don't even speak. Don't
Our
speak your language. Don't speak your
English.
native dialect. Just speak English. Parents say that to their kids.
It's so sad. But you find out that in every society, those who have inquisitive minds are really very few. Most of the time. You want to do it the way every other person is doing it. But in my own house, I make sure, one, I speak Yoruba to them most of the time. You even find those who will come around and buy something that will not be able to speak good English, will be speaking to children. I was told you what you did and all the rest of them. But when you in fact, one of my children now is inclined into this he attends Orunmila Church and has associated with the Ifa people. I think you know my boy.
I know your children.
So
but
we have the Pentecostalists. Well, those ones don't speak in tongues.
But don't you think that's contradictory? You are a Rosicrucian, and your son is not practicing. Is he?
No, it's not compulsory. The Rosicrucian order is an educational, philosophical, and cultural organization for men and women who are devoted to the study, investigation, and practical application of spiritual and natural laws for the attainment of good health, happiness, and this is why I'm so happy.
Do you use the same Bible that we use?
Bible is a religious scripture. The Rosicrucian emphasizes on direct and intimate awareness of God within the domain of self, though it's not Rosicrucian that I've come to preach now. But it doesn't go contrary to Islam. It doesn't go contrary to Hinduism. You see, it's more or less a hybrid for all these things. But our own, just like Christ said, is that I and my Father, we are one, and that same Father is in you, and many more things you can do more than he himself did. So we always emphasizes the God within us, and that's why when we pray, we say, God of our hearts, God of our realization. But it's not amok that I'm being asked to. But so my wife, she attends Cherubim and Seraphim. Wow. I told you my children, the two girls, they attend the Pentecostal. My boy is now, you know him, he was into showbiz and stuff like that. He's now a fashion designer. He's into Ifa something. But we come together once in a while to discuss. And you see, that there is
The depth of the conversation and
unity in diversity.
Yes.
Unity.
Let's even
And
be
that
teammates.
is what we should think when it comes to predicating such on nation building. But religion, according to Kenneth Igildi, religion has been politicized. Politics has been religionized, and both politics and religion have been commercialized.
Another
Of the mic. Anyway, let's go on a short break again, and when we return, we'll continue with Off
the mic.
Welcome back to Off the Mic, the podcast. My name still remains Alex Osho. And of course, I still have the Ada of the podcast on the show, Josephine Lawrence, and of course, John Bula. Our guest, Mr. Taiye Olaniyi, indeed has started on a good note. We promised our audience that this podcast is where we're going to be discussing societal ills, solutions being proffered to them. And if you agree with me, I think he's been doing justice to just that.
Yeah.
There are certain things that we've learned here today that we probably haven't heard about before, you get. And so, thank you so much, sir, for coming. Now, straight up, sir, we can complain from today till Jesus comes. And if we do not lend our voices towards preferring solution, like I said earlier, it makes no sense. We're just ranting. But I mean, if we're ranting, let's rant positively till it gets to the right people's ears. What word do you say you have for the government? Because now it is government's role to also ensure that there's proper funding for culture, there's proper funding for tourism. They should make it interesting for foreign investors to come to Nigeria and foreigners to come here. I mean, I know places like Kenya live over tourism. Yeah, somebody saying I'm going to what's that popular resort in Kenya and in Tanzania. There are several. I can't even remember them right now.
I think there's Serengeti.
There's a lot to visit. There are a lot to visit. But ask the same people if they've ever been to Jos, if they've ever been to Kaduna, if they've ever been to even National Museum in Lagos here or any of the states. They haven't.
Yeah.
You get. I think government's role is what I would like you to share with us.
Thank you very much. Yeah, there is this saying by Charles de Gaulle. He said that politics is too serious a business to be left solely in the hands of politicians. This is where all of us must be concerned. As a retired public servant, I realize that there are 3 P's that affect whatever is happening in any organization and the nation as a whole. Personalities, policies, and politics. The personalities that are in charge of one organization, ministry, or even the head of an administration. What are the policies? There are so many nice policy criteria that are jettisoned by personalities and as a result of the political trend in such various platforms of human existence. To make culture more prominent, you see in recent time, National Agency for, Orientation
Agency.
They are doing creditably well. When you also look at NTA, and this, our friend, Goge Africa, you will see that you hardly watch that kind of a thing, and you will not love.
But sadly, sir, I don't think the average millennial or Gen Z actually watch this.
I don't even know what
she doesn't even know them. You see, she doesn't even know them.
I honestly
That's where the problem is.
Yeah, this is why you see, though the Bible says old wine or new wine is not good in old skin, or old skin is not good in new wine, but wine really still has to be put in skin, and skin also has to carry this is the aspect of partnership, togetherness, that an old man cannot do everything. In Yoruba land, it is said, "Tọwọ́ ọmọdé ò tó pẹpẹ, tàgbàlagbà kò wọ́ kèǹgbè." That is, a child's hand cannot reach the top of the roof or something. And that of the big man, the old man, cannot enter that of the calabash and stuff like that. Meaning, because in youth, we run into problems. At old age, problems run onto us. Every elderly person should appreciate that the
let's not run like that. Like we don't understand that statement. That in youth we run into problems. At old age, problem run into us. Can you define that?
Very good.
Can you break it down?
I mentioned to Dimeji when we were coming that this environment looks so cozy, that it is you bourgeois
Thank you so much,
that belong to this place. He didn't know what bourgeois is. But during our days in Unilag, when we fought our labor school, we were idealistic in our student orientation. You are either a socialist, a Marxist, or a bourgeois. Those who have the money, but so that we all form the society. There is unity in diversity. If we discredit all the Gen Zs of this world, this kind of a thing that I'm enjoying is not or was not what we used to have.
Way back, that's true.
Now we are also cross-fertilizing ideas from my old age. Today is yesterday's tomorrow. Are we moving forward in thoughts and conduct? So if by the grace of God, somebody like you becomes a culture ambassador, I'm not talk of Kwame or Wakwawan and all the rest, you find that in fact, it's culture that has really brought us together. So some people will have money and contribute and see that historical sites, monuments that can bring people to Nigeria, that will enhance our tourism potentials will be there, but not when you condemn all these museums as the colony of demons. No.
Anyway, my producer is giving me the sign that we have just a few minutes to go. So quick one, your question. You need to draw the mic, please. Draw the mic. Yeah.
I'll be coming from the millennial perspective because it happens to be the in-between people from the older generation and the new Gen Zs now. So we had a bit of experience from your kind and we are new to the system. As per what you'll be saying, which I've learned a lot, my home problem that I saw was that our media houses did a lot in adding to the problems that we had. We've had instances of the churches of that demolish that anything that they do about their movie. I won't mention their name. Okay. They portray a movie to castigate everything about Nigerian culture, and it became a very popular this thing that became a household name. So there's no cultural ambassadors in Nigeria to be able to put people like that in check, and they accepted it as the norms. So, from your own perspective, what do you think the media houses, the media contributed? They contributed, and how can it be corrected?
Thank you very much. In mass communication, we talk of selective exposure, selective attention, selective perception, selective retention. I watch different. In fact, I'm glued even to Big Brother Nigeria, which people like you might not expect me to be. But when you see some of the games and some other things, you will know that this is a very difficult task to do. It is only when they are kissing or not kissing that but who had not kissed at one point in time or the other. These are things we should see life from various perspectives. Those who denigrate us, they should please realize that journalism itself, there is what we call developmental journalism. Research. Know why. I've mentioned Shigidi and all the rest of them as precursor to
so
what you have
that
as
media
AI.
People don't do enough research.
They don't research that much. And if they want to research, they research on personalities so that they can destroy one person or the other. But there is this impression that lesser mind discuss people, ordinary mind discuss events, great minds discuss ideas. We should have ideas about why our people have been who and what they are, and see the positive aspect of it that should be portrayed. We should also not condemn those people who are doing all these things. Pity them because they lack knowledge. But the idea that they have come up with Nollywood and or whatever kind of wood we have today has made us to know that we are advancing. Now we have podcasts, we have YouTube, we have all sorts on internet, all sorts of. So the social media platform can also help to readdress the minds of these kind of people. And this is why we interact with all sorts of human beings.
Thank you so much, sir. If we give Mr. Olaniyi this mic, we'll not leave yet. And my producer is saying it's time. Okay. Anyway, thank you very much, sir. We do appreciate you. I promised my colleagues that the person that is coming is sound, and do you guys feel I delivered in that? Sound. So round of applause.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. Yes, it's been a wonderful time at the maiden edition of Up the Mic. My name still remains Alex Osho. A big shout out to my colleagues here. Ada Eze of the Mic podcast, the Gen Z body with what? Brains and beauty. A round of applause for her too. Thank you so much. Also, John Bula, like I said, a man of many parts. Ladies and gentlemen, watch out for him. A round of applause for him also. Till we come your way again at another episode, I still remain Alex Osho. A big shout out to our partners on this, CC Hub. We want to say thank you for the platform. And of course, if you think I'm looking good, big shout out to SOA Coutures for good tailored clothes. Reach out to them. See you next week on another episode.